Hello everyone. In this recording, I'm going to show you how to add a course. So in your main toolbar up here, you're going to click on Courses, and it's going to bring a drop-down menu of courses that you're already enrolled in. You want to actually go up to the plus sign where it says Add Course, and then you are given some options. You can create a regular course, meaning you're going to go ahead and create one out of scratch. Or you can choose the next option, which says based on an existing course or a template. This is when you want to copy maybe someone else's course, or you want to copy one that you already have. And then the third one, courses with content from third parties, we think is like if you wanted to add a Learn Zillion course or something of that nature. So we're going to go ahead and give our course a title down here. I'm going to create one from scratch, and I want this to be Sally's Sandbox. If you did not create one that has your name in Sandbox, go ahead and do that. This can be a course that you just play around in, trial and error, things of that nature. I'm going to click Save. And now I have another navigation bar up here, and this is my course navigation bar. It's in the white area. So right here it's going to show me which course I'm currently in. And then you'll see overview, plans, resources, follow-up and reports, participants, and more. So your students are going to go to the overview part when they go into a course, and that's what you mainly want them to be familiar with, because that's going to tell them whatever lessons are for that day. It's usually pretty easy. They just click a Start Now button. Something I want to take you to is over here in the More, and you're going to click More, and you're going to go to Settings. You're going to see a menu that looks somewhat familiar. And here, we're going to work on the learning objectives portion. And on this, if you go ahead and click that, it may take it a minute to load. If you were just doing a course and it was labeled like 4th grade math, then you are going to want to import only those particular standards. If you're like a K through 2 teacher and you want just one course for your students to log into, and you want all standards to be available to you, then I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So once you get into learning objectives, you have the option to find or create. We're going to actually go to find. And you'll see right here that there's a drop-down menu where it says Little Rock School District. Go ahead and click that drop-down menu, and you're going to go to State Repository. When you click that, it's going to bring up another list of options, and we're going to actually click on Arkansas. Then we're going to click Curriculum Framework, and you're going to see where it brings in all of the different areas with standards, okay? So in here, let's say I'm creating this course just for math. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because it's Mathematics 2016. This is where you do not want to check your box, okay? If I check the box, it will import all the mathematics standards for Arkansas, so grades K through whatever. I don't want to do that. I want this to narrow down a little more. So I'm going to click Mathematics. Then once I get inside Mathematics, I'm going to scroll up, and you'll see kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. So I could click grade 4, and it would even narrow it down even more, get more specific. But let's just say I'm creating this course for math, my 4th grade students. So I'm going to navigate up. I want all of the 4th grade math standards available to me when I'm planning. So I'm going to check that box, and I'm going to insert and close. If I was a K through 2 teacher and I wanted to also put English language, I wanted English language standards available to me when I'm doing my plans, then I would just click Insert, and then I would go find those plans. Okay, so I'm going to insert and close. All right. Another thing I want to show you very quickly, if you go under More and you go under Settings, you can go under Course Properties and Features. Okay, this is where you might, if you needed to change the title of your course. I'm not sure what that little paint. Oh, you can change the color. Isn't that pretty? Okay, there's other things you can look at in here if you want. If you want to allow people to delete or withdraw themselves from your course, you would click that box. All right. And then you can click Save if you changed anything. Okay. So I also want to show you in here, when you're in the course properties and features, if you ever want to delete a course that you've created, you're going to go over here to these three little bars and you're going to delete. If you just want to archive it, then you can go ahead and archive it. You will not have that delete option for all courses that you are enrolled in. It will depend on whether they allow you to unenroll them yourself or not. All right, so let's click Plans. I've got my standards now imported and I'm ready to start planning. Here's what I want to do. Sorry, I had a brain. I want to go to Plan Settings first. We do the 8-component gradebook, and you can actually format this so that it mimics your 8-component lesson plans if you want. Okay, so usually how they kind of described it to us, your topic would be more like a unit name. So you could say fractions or equivalent fractions. Then you're going to have an option to hone down, and you'll have like your individual lessons. So I'm just going to show you what they did with us, and you can adjust this as you want. Okay. All right. And I haven't read through all of this, so you're welcome to. But this is kind of what we looked at. We looked down here at the topic fields. So instead of where it says topic, we changed that because you want to think kind of big or broad, and we changed that just to unit. Okay. You can add a field if you want. You might want to add essential question, although to me, I usually put that in my lessons. You can put one. We could add standards in here. So if I wanted to add standards, and then over here in this drop down, I would choose learning objectives, and who do I want it visible for? I would do everyone. Down here in your plan fields, okay, so this is your actual plan. Now to me, I would put my standards down in my plans as well, although you see you have a learning objective. It's just kind of however you want to word it. So instead of plan, we actually chose to do lesson here. All right. We left the date. That was fine. And then where it says class hours, this is where you might want to put standards. We actually chose this, and we did notes from principal. Now, we didn't want that visible for everyone, so we just did teacher. That means anyone, as far as we understand, anyone that has the teacher role in your class or your course will see these. So if you want nobody, you can choose nobody. Over here, you see the 3 dots. That means I can drag these and put them in any order I want. So you can change these however you want. We have materials as part of our lesson plans, things of that nature. I can't even remember them all off the top of my head right now. And you can change these to whatever you want. So I'm going to click Save. And now I'm going to go and I'm back in my plans page. I'm no longer in my settings. And I'm going to do add a unit. Okay. Let's say I want equivalent fractions. Okay. So I'm going to save that. And now you see my equivalent fractions. Now a minute ago, if you remember, I added standards. And there they are. And so I click this and I can go add my standards that all my lessons would meet. So look here. Once I click add learning objectives, here are the learning objectives that I chose earlier that would be available to me. If I had not chosen anything, then they would not be available to me. So I can click on this. I'm going to click on grade 4. And then obviously I'm dealing with fractions. So I'm going to click in there. And then it keeps going down. It keeps drilling down. So let's see. I might choose. Let's look. Let's just pretend I want both of these or just that one. I'm going to click it. I'm going to insert and close if that's the only one that will go with the equivalent fractions unit. Now I'm ready to actually add my lessons. So I'm going to add a plan. Right here says no title. Let's just say halves, oops, I can't spell today. And force. Okay. I can set a date that I want this to be available to my students and show up on that overview page, or I don't have to at that moment. Okay. I'll just X out of that. Okay. Description, if I want to add a description. Now, remember, I can change these up here. Those were those things in those settings I just showed you that you were able to adjust. So if you don't want description, you don't have to put a description. Right here, I can go and I can go back and I can add specific standards if maybe my unit covers a whole bunch of standards or I didn't have the learning objectives up there, up here, then I might put specific ones within a lesson, which is I think what we're really used to doing. So now we come to this resource and activities. I want y'all to kind of play around with this. You click add a resource and show all. Okay. You have some options here. And we were taught that really the easiest thing you might want to put here would be a note. So if you were to click a note, then you would title your note. And then when you get down here to your text, you might say, now I don't know why my thing's not popping up on this one either. Let me see. Okay, title, let's just say Google Classroom assignment. So I would come down here in the text and you should have a like a toolbar pop up. I'm not having one and I don't understand why that is the case, but you should, because you should be able to insert hyperlinks and things of that nature. So I might tell my students, I would like for you to go to Google Classroom and complete the or watch, let's say watch the video. Watch the video. And then maybe I'll give them other instructions. So they automatically know what I want them to do. Okay. I can also, you're supposed to be able, like I said, to insert hyperlinks. So if I want to hyperlink that word, I need the toolbar, and I don't know why it's not popping up. But you should be able to insert hyperlinks, which I would love to show you, but I can't. All right. And I'm going to save that. Okay. So now if my students were on the overview page and they started this lesson, then this would show up in that lesson as something I want them to do. It's very simple. So I'm going to click on that to show you what it looks like for the kids. Here it is. I would like for you to go to Google Classroom and watch the video. And that's it. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go. That's now listed in your resources tab in your course toolbar. So I'm going to go back to my plans. Let's look at another resource. You can pull them from other courses. We do have a library where you're going to find other activities and things that might have to do with halves and fourths. So I'll just click that and show you. And usually it takes us a minute to pull up as well. So I'm going to type right here, equivalent fractions. Okay. And it brings up all sorts of different activities that I obviously would want to preview. But let's say here's a study jams. So I'm going to click on this. And I have an option to view the resource or add to plan. I always recommend viewing your resource, but just to make sure it works and it's really what you're wanting. For our sake today, I'm just going to say add to my plan. It says it's been added. We'll click OK. Exit out of here. And here it is right here. So the students, it'll show up in that lesson that they're working through. And here you go. Here's that lesson. And they can click that link and it's going to take them to exactly where I want them to go. All right. So back in here, now that's a resource in my resources. Go back to my plans. Let's add another resource for fun. I'm going to show all. Okay. You can create a link. You can just add a link. You can put an Excel document there. I mean, just look at all these of stuff that you can add in there. Okay. I'm going to do add a link. So right here, I can add a title, Fulbright homepage, and then I want to come down here and add my link. But not Facebook, FulbrightElementary.com. Save. Okay. All right. So now that's in here in my resources. All right. So let's say I want this visible to my students right now. Okay. So I want it visible today, and it'll be due, let's just say tomorrow. All right, so I'm going to click OK. So now when I go to my overview page, it should, here it is, it's right here for students to work through. I would obviously put some more directions and stuff in my plan. Okay, let's see if it in the descriptions. I'm just doing it simple. If that shows up. It tells right here, that's kind of telling the kids what's going to be going on in the lesson. Oh, and it's stuck. See if it'll come back. There it goes. Okay, so there's one lesson that you want. So let's say day 2 you want a lesson. Or maybe you're going to do another subject now if you're K through 2. You're just going to do add a plan, and you're going to do that all over again. Okay? So those are your plans. And then when you set those dates, it will show up on that overview page. And it is pretty much as simple as that. Let's see. Okay. So that is the basics of adding a course and some of the settings that you're going to want to look at and be sure that you have in there.